Who was Marco Polo? A merchant, an adventurer, or perhaps a bridge between two worlds? Born to a wealthy Venetian merchant family in 1254, Marco Polo's life was anything but ordinary. Tragedy struck early when he lost his mother, leaving him in the care of his extended family. His father and uncle, Niccolo and Maffeo Polo, were successful jewel merchants who spent much of Marco's youth in Asia. Their journey took them all the way to the court of Kublai Khan, the Mongol leader whose grandfather, Genghis Khan, had conquered Northeast Asia. In 1269, Niccolo and Maffeo returned to Venice, carrying with them tales of a sophisticated culture beyond the reaches of the Holy Roman Empire. These stories would shape young Marco's life, igniting a spark of curiosity that would eventually lead him on his own extraordinary journey. A life destined for the extraordinary was set in motion when Marco Polo was just a boy. In 1271, a journey of a lifetime began, a journey that would span over 2 decades. Young Marco Polo, alongside his father and uncle, Niccolo and Maffeo, embarked on a voyage to the east, to the court of the great Mongol leader, Kublai Khan. Their mission was to fulfill Khan's request to bring back 100 priests and holy water, a task they found to be far more difficult than anticipated. Despite their best efforts, they could only convince 2 priests to join them. However, the harsh realities of the journey quickly became apparent, and these 2 reluctant travelers soon turned back, leaving the Polo family to continue alone. Their path was not an easy one. The journey was a test of endurance, a battle against the elements, and a grueling trek across diverse and often hostile terrains. Through the verdant landscapes of the Middle East, Marco Polo's keen senses absorbed the exotic sights and smells, his mind cataloging the remarkable cultures and customs he encountered. Yet, the journey also brought its fair share of hardships. In the rugged terrain of what is now Afghanistan, Polo was struck by illness, forcing the travelers to retreat to the mountains to allow him time to recover. The Gobi Desert, vast and unforgiving, posed another formidable challenge. Polo later described it as a place so vast that it would take a year to go from end to end, and at its narrowest point, it takes a month to cross it. It was a barren land of mountains and sands and valleys, with nothing to eat, a test of their survival skills and resilience. Yet, through every hardship, Polo's spirit never wavered. His thirst for knowledge and adventure only grew stronger. His vivid accounts of the journey would later provide the Western world with its first clear picture of the East's geography and cultural practices. Despite the hardships, Marco Polo's spirit remained unbroken, his thirst for adventure unquenched. His journey was far from over, and the greatest adventure was yet to come. After 4 long years, the Polos finally reached their destination, the court of Kublai Khan. Their journey had been arduous and fraught with peril, but as they stood before the grandeur of Xanadu, Kublai Khan's summer palace, all hardship seemed to melt away. Xanadu was a marvel of its time, a grand marble architectural wonder adorned with intricate carvings and surrounded by lush gardens. Marco Polo was utterly fascinated by this spectacle. He had seen many things on his travels, but nothing compared to the splendor of Xanadu. The palace was not just a building, it was a testament to the progress and sophistication of a culture vastly different from his own. As Polo walked through the palace, he was greeted by the imposing figure of Kublai Khan. The Mongol leader, who had once been a mere name in stories, now stood before him in flesh and blood. This meeting marked the beginning of Polo's 17-year stay in China, a period that would greatly influence his understanding of the world. In China, Polo discovered a society that was advanced in ways he could not have imagined. He was introduced to paper money, coal heating, and a postal system that was remarkably efficient. These experiences transformed Polo, giving him a new perspective on civilization and progress. Marco Polo was now in a world vastly different from his own, ready to immerse himself in its wonders. As he delved deeper into the Chinese culture, he began documenting his observations, leaving behind a legacy that would forever change the way the Western world viewed the East. Marco Polo spent 17 years in China, absorbing its culture, its traditions, its way of life. Living under the auspices of the great Kublai Khan, he was granted the opportunity to explore the vast empire, a privilege not bestowed upon many foreigners. he witnessed the grandeur of the Mongol court, the bustling markets of Beijing, the intricacies of Chinese bureaucracy, and the splendor of the imperial summer palace, Xanadu. His return to Venice was not the end of his journey, but rather the beginning of a new chapter. Life in Venice was starkly different from that in China, and Polo found himself yearning for the exotic and vibrant life he had experienced in the East. This longing gave birth to one of the most influential books in history, The Travels of Marco Polo. Written in the vernacular language of the time, the book was an unprecedented success. It was a vivid and detailed account of his travels, filled with descriptions of the people, cultures, and landscapes he had encountered. It spoke of black stones that burned like wood, of paper money, of spices and silks, of sprawling cities and grand palaces. It painted a picture so exotic and far removed from the mundane life in Europe that it was met with incredulity by many. Yet, it was this incredulity that fueled the curiosity of the Western world and ignited an interest in the East that has persisted to this day. Polo's accounts provided the Western world with its first clear picture of the East's geography and ethnic customs. His descriptions of the Silk Road, the trading route that connected the East and West, were so precise that they were used by explorers for centuries to come. His vivid tales of the wealth and power of the Mongol Empire, the sophistication of Chinese society, and the exotic cultures of the Orient shattered preconceived notions and opened the eyes of the West to the possibilities that lay beyond their borders. Yet Polo's legacy extends beyond his book and his travels. He was a pioneer, a man who dared to venture into the unknown, to immerse himself in foreign cultures, and to share his experiences with the world. He was a man who saw beyond the walls of his city, beyond the boundaries of his country, and beyond the confines of his time. Marco Polo, a merchant and an adventurer, became a bridge between two worlds, forever changing how the East and the West viewed each other. His exploits have inspired countless explorers, scholars, and dreamers, and his legacy continues to shape our world today.